Good day, friends. I'm Stephen Benoon. You're watching Fact News Network, and we apologize. It's been quite a lengthy time since we've actually spoke with you guys here. Just really have been very much constrained with our ability for internet access due to, well, a lot of issues going on. But anyway, I want to kind of bring some things up to speed as far as current events that are going on. And one thing we've not covered here on this channel is the COVID pandemic that is spoken about quite universally now all over the world. And although we're not going to get into one side or the other on that issue on Fact News Network, but we want to bring out the facts that we're seeing on this that's happening, and just to bring you up to speed, along with some other news we're going to be covering here today. The Wagner Group, Russian troops being deployed into Libya, and as well as U.S. Patriot missiles being removed from portions of Saudi Arabia. So be getting into those three different stories here. Let's get right into this first part here. This article here from Reuters, to keep COVID-19 patients home, some U.S. states weigh house arrest techniques. They're talking about putting monitors on these people, whether it be the wristband or whether it be the bracelets on the ankles. But states are weighing in. As the United States begins to reopen its economy, some states officially are weighing whether house arrest monitoring technology, including ankle bracelets or location tracking apps, could be used to police quarantines imposed on coronavirus carriers. It's really become very bizarre how the governments in different states are handling this. I mean, the New York mayor goes out and actually publicly states that if you are not wearing a mask, that's like you're trying to kill someone. Since when has a virus ever become known as the lethal weapon and people being accused of murder? But yet there are crazy stories popping up everywhere, including one story that's going to be covered on INL about a lady in Texas that opens up her hair salon because her children are hungry, 2 months out of work, and takes all the precautions necessary that the government requires: social distancing, wearing of masks, requiring everything. But then a judge orders her to either apologize and not have to face 7 days in jail, but still a $7,000 fine, or face both 7 days in jail plus a $7,000 fine for breaking the state's stay-at-home order. Well, you know, it's interesting how that the poorer communities, the people that are less fortunate, the small business owners, etc., these are the ones that are all being targeted. And of course, the lady stood her ground. She clearly states that the judge was wrong, respectfully, but wrong. She said it was more important for her to feed her children, which the government's not going to do. And of course, the judge is not without a job. He still gets his check every single week. I think Texans ought to consider not voting for that judge ever again. Abuse of power, clearly, in this. And now they're treating people as if they are prisoners. All the while, they're letting loose pedophiles and everything else out of prisons, and they're imprisoning law-abiding citizens. We have George Soros pictured right on here. This article here coming out of civilianintelligencenetwork.ca. And the title of the article here, Remdesivir, George Soros and Bill Gates partner with China on coronavirus drug. Now, I wanted to bring this out because I noticed today on Twitter there was a news clip on there of the British talking about China coming out with the the vaccine for the coronavirus first. And but whether or not would the Britons actually use that one there, and of course they're saying they would not. But, you know, listen, seems like Bill Gates is behind every vaccine globally, regardless of what country comes up with it. So, quite frankly, pharmakeia, as that's going to be spoken on INL later today as well with Yana Benoon. She'll be speaking about that from the book of Revelations, that they're going to use their pharmakeia. They won't repent. They're witchcraft. So you might want to check out that broadcast as well. Anyway, those things are going on. Now, I wanted to share something with you. Now, this is interesting. Matzav.com. This is a Jewish website. It says, watch, a New York City nurse says our New York hospitals are killing their patients. And they post this lady right here. Actually looks like they took this from INL News, because I know that the way that had been posted there was with the black backdrop there. So perhaps that's where that's actually coming from. But at any rate, we wanted to share with you a short clip, something that will also be over on INL's Patreon channel, of this nurse here and what she says. It's about a minute long, or not even quite a minute long. Listen to this right quick here. This is another nurse that speaks about that as well. Listen into this.
Watched anesthesiologist place an ET tube and rupture their esophagus, and the guy choked to death on his own blood. COVID didn't place that ET tube incorrectly. And nobody cares because they're all minorities and we're in the fucking hood. You know, and that's just not okay. You know, I grew up really poor. And so I know what it's like to be, like, completely forgotten and for nobody to advocate for you. And that's why I get really upset, guys. Because, like I said, I know that a lot of people are gonna die, but, you know, COVID didn't cause that pneumo. An incorrectly placed ET tube placed that pneumo, and then they wouldn't let me fix it. Like, all I had to do was, like, adjust it.
Wanted to share that clip with you there. Like I said, on INL's Patreon channel, you'll be able to catch a lot more of that particular interview there with this nurse here. And she speaks about how that, and gives like 4 different accounts of patients that she claims are murdered by negligence or incompetence, whatever you might want to call it there, these hospitals, all because it's in a poor part of the community of New York. Now, that's kind of interesting because we have a source up at the Pentagon that had shared with us, that had been shared over on INL, how that there was going to be targeting of New York, Texas, and South Florida, and targeting what they called the undesirables. I really think this lady also, by the way, in her interview, she actually reached out, tried to contact Black Lives Matter. She tried contacting other black minority groups. She even tried contacting the press. No one would return her call. No one would respond to her. And the lady clearly cares about both the black and Hispanic community in New York and the the treacherous care that is happening to these people in these hospitals there. And we would not bring it up so much as it was for the fact that we knew before her video ever came out, that had been shared on INL, about how that they would be targeting the, as they called it, quote unquote, undesirables in New York as well as 2 other states. Let's move on to other news as well. Wanted to cover a couple other things real quick that's going on. The Wall Street Journal reporting U.S. to remove Patriot missile batteries from Saudi Arabia. And I don't find that a bit surprising at all, especially seeing as the fact that the Patriot missiles are not shooting down even the missiles that the Houthi rebels are using against the Saudis. And from what we were told, the technology that is being used by Iran also has been given over to the Houthi rebels, and therefore the Patriot batteries can't shoot them down. So all we're doing is lobbing missiles in the air for no apparent reason. So no wonder why the U.S. is looking to move those out of there. Also, Reuters reporting today, or actually yesterday, was reporting that 1,200 deployed. That is the Russian Wagner Group, a private military contractor deployed to Libya. The title of the article, up to 1,200 deployed in Libya by Russian military group. UN report. Russian private military contract Wagner Group has up to 1,200 people deployed in Libya, strengthening the forces of Eastern-based military leader Khalifa Haftar. And of course, that's going against what the U.S. is supporting there on the ground. Kind of interesting to see that situation, how it's going to play out. As we keep saying, it's interesting. The United States and Russia are actually fighting a war, but they're using different forces, different fighters on the battlefields and not their own forces. So very interesting to see. Anyway, I'm Steve Benoon. You're watching Fact News Network, and good day.